So I remember my first day of graduate school really well because I broke down crying in front of my whole class. The assignment was to create 2 vision boards, one for your professional goals and one for your personal goals. And then at the end, my professor asked if there were any volunteers that would feel comfortable presenting their vision boards in front of the class. And I felt so bad because nobody was volunteering. And you could see the stress on my professor's face, and she was trying really hard to engage the class. And so I volunteered, and I presented my professional vision board, and then I presented my personal one. And on my personal one, I had photos of families wearing matching Christmas outfits and matching Hawaiian outfits. And my professor started asking me questions about why I had put those families there. And I broke down crying because it's just always something that I've envisioned for my life. Like, it's never been a question. I've always wanted to have a family. And so I broke down crying in front of my whole class. It was so embarrassing. It's like, it's never been a question that's what I've wanted. I've known from a very early age, like, God has put this desire in my heart, and I get like emotional talking about it because it feels like such a far away, unattainable goal. And so I broke down crying in front of my whole class. And last night, I was telling my ex's story. I don't tell this story often, but I was telling my ex's story. My ex, who could not care if I live or die. And he paused me and he was like, I don't care. And I have to laugh about it, because if not, I'll cry. And I've been praying to God, and I'm like, God, I really don't want to be a 90-year-old bride. I really don't want to. But if that's your will for me, then that's the plan. Like, I have to trust you. Maybe I'm meant to break a Guinness World Record for the oldest bride. I don't know. It's really, really not what I envisioned. And I really hope that's not his plan. If that's his plan, then he has a really sick sense of humor. But I have to have faith in his plan. And I don't know. I don't know why I'm sharing this. I guess it's like, I'm at this point where, like, I really am placing all my faith in God. And it's just like, it's scary because, like, this is so not what I had envisioned for my life. But I have to have faith that God has something great in store for me. Sorry, I hate crying in front of the camera. It's so embarrassing. I don't know why I'm sharing this. I guess, like, I don't know if anyone feels the same way. But I just, like, you have to have faith, you know? And so that's where I'm at. Please, God, I don't want to be a 90-year-old bride.
In graduate school, well-educated, learning a lot, but still want a family. And the world, society, and the feminist agenda will tell you, nah, that's not what you want, go get educated. Woman had to break down in the middle of class. In the middle of class.
This might be a hot take, but I think you can have a roster with honesty and integrity. I never know what I'm going to say that's going to make people mad or not mad, and I was surprised at the roster comment getting people a little bit upset. I was just having fun. Like, do I want to have a bunch of boyfriends or just want to have one boyfriend? I don't want to have no boyfriends. It it was funny, but it's kind of something I wanted to like just talk about in general. Because for me, I've always been the kind of person who is all in. As soon as I meet someone that I even kind of like, I'm all in, I'm 100% invested. All I want to do is get to know them, see if it's going to work out. I forget everybody else that I'm talking to, and then 3 to 6 months down the road, they're a completely different person. Everything changes, and then I'm starting over. And I'm just not going to do that anymore. And the people that seem to get mad about the roster comment were the men, and I feel like that's because when men have a roster, they're not going to be doing it in any way that has any integrity. Like the girls don't know about each other, and they're lying to everybody to try and keep everybody in track. Whereas when I say roster, when I meet someone, I'm very direct upfront, day one. I'm like, this is how emotionally available I am. This is what I can give you. This is what you can expect out of me until maybe X amount of months down the road, or just this is where I'm at. And I'm like, you can take it or leave it, because I understand that that might not be what you want in this moment, and it's your choice now to decide with the information that I've given you whether or not you would like to continue going forward. And that is what I've been doing. And some people don't want to do that, and some people don't have a problem with it. As a recovering people pleaser, as a recovering like hopeless romantic that thinks that you have to be in love in the first 2 weeks because I grew up on Hallmark movies, I've completely changed the way that I'm approaching dating, and I'm going for the slow burn. I'm going for kind of getting to know each other in a flirty, friendly way for a while. It might be months before there's any talk of exclusivity, and it doesn't mean I'm out just like in bed with the entire town, which wouldn't be an issue as long as everybody's being honest and everybody's consenting. You can do what you want. That's not what I'm doing. I don't have the energy for that. But this is not me shaming that. Anyway, when I say roster, that's not what I mean. I just mean I'm not gonna make myself exclusive to anybody until they've shown up in the beginning, which all guys do. Almost all guys are really good at showing up for the first like 1 to 3 months, and then things start to fall apart. So I am not going to give you exclusive access to me until we've gotten past that point and you've consistently shown me that you are somebody that is worth me giving all of it away for. And before you guys come on here and you say, well, women this too and women that, then you didn't have your own rules with women. Don't be exclusive with them until they've proven themselves. That's the funniest part of this all to me, is whenever I talk about things that are hard with dating men, because I almost exclusively date men, women also, okay, I never said women don't do things. I never said a woman's never scorned you. That's your problem and that's your issue, and you can make your own rules with dating. Oh, okay. So like saying, well, women lie too, okay. Set boundaries. That's all I'm doing. I'm setting my own rules and my own boundaries in my dating life, which happens to be dating men. And I am giving tips and advice for things that are working for me, for other people who might be searching for ideas. So the ones that get mad in the comments, I think it's a you problem. Either way, that's where I'm at. I'm going to have a roster. I'm going to keep calling it a roster because it's funny, because it apparently makes you guys very mad. I'm going to have a roster. Is my roster going to be deep? I don't know if I have the energy for that, but we'll find out. Maybe I'll put them up on the board back here and we just move them around as they move up and down in the how well they're doing. If you see your name, I'm just kidding.
Woman in the comments was like, I'm 49 and I keep a roster. Why? Grow up.
Now that I put myself back out there and I'm like actively dating, a lot of my friends keep saying like, hey, like, you know, you're talking about this guy and like, it seems like you guys really hit it off and you like him, but you're just not sure. So like, we don't want to see you get hurt. So like, don't put all of your eggs in one basket. I'm kind of like, thanks. I know. I can literally feel this basket about to break with all of my eggs in it. I'm scrambling for another basket, but I can't find any. Baskets are hard to find. You know, there's some other baskets here and there, but they're not strong enough to hold all my eggs. So help a girl out. Help me find some good baskets to put my other eggs in.
You know, with the way some of you ladies be acting, y'all probably not going to find a basket for a long time.
Okay, I've been back on the dating apps for a couple of weeks now. And it amazes me how many men will ask me the craziest questions. Number one, why are you on here? What's wrong with you? What did you not mention on your profile? That you're single. I'm sorry. I'm picky. It means there's something wrong with me that I'm single. So insulting. Like, I will not go on a date with you. Second thing, I've had men message me, be like, what are you going to do to prove that you can be a wife? Prove? Sir? You're supposed to be the provider. I will prove myself once you prove yourself to be a man. I don't have to prove anything to you. 3, men will literally message me the most inappropriate, asinine things. It blows my mind. I had one guy message me today, say, I want to feed you. Sir? I'm so innocent that I'm like, are you a chef? He was like, no. What do you think I meant by that? Delete? What is wrong with you men? I need a man, not a little boy. Hello?
I never want men on my TikTok page ever again. I made a video about giving women flowers and how sometimes when you give them those like flowers from Ralph's that are like still wet at the bottom and they're plastic wraps, it's a little bit of a bare minimum effort, and how you can upscale it if you just wrap it in a brown paper wrapping and tie it. The comments I got were actually insane. Men went crazy, and a lot of my filtered comments were death threats from men saying that I should just die. And it was just crazy to me, the pipeline from talking about flowers to threatening to kill men because somehow it threatened your fragile male ego. And I, just like many other women, would rather run into a bear alone on a hike than a man. And this is literally the reason why. The fact that men were going ballistic that they might have to do something that falls out of the checklist that's going to allegedly get a woman to sleep with you is something that I'm just never going to be able to understand. All of the comments were saying that we should just be grateful for the fact that somebody even wanted to get me flowers. This entitlement to gratitude for doing the absolute bare minimum, and then getting upset if we say that maybe a little bit more effort could be put into something. The response is anger and rage and threats of murder. It's clear that we have set the bar so low for men that they, instead of doing anything to improve, can then just threaten us with physical harm so that we shut up and just accept and continue to accept the absolute bare minimum behavior that they've always given us. I keep hearing about the male loneliness epidemic, and I am so tired of this discussion. Women are actively trying to engage in conversation with men and give them clear instructions on how they can make a relationship with them happen, but they just decide that that's too much and that we're the problem. So I am totally and wholly uninterested in being a rehabilitation center for a man who has not done the emotional work and who thinks that just showing up means that he's entitled to gratitude and for me to have sex with him. So all I have to say today, ladies, is don't accept the bare minimum. We cannot keep the bar so that men feel comfortable sending deaths online just because you said that you want your flowers wrapped a little bit differently.
Well, you said something stupid, so that's number one. Number two, let's not say it's all men. It's actually women in the comments telling you, why don't you just be grateful for what the man gave you?
I did a video yesterday on how men should date women like a boss hires an employee. And a few of the comments were saying, what happens when that employee works for the company for 20 years and then takes half of the assets? Well, see, that's why I don't recommend marriage, because a boss is never going to give that much leverage to the employee for them to take advantage of. On another note, when an employee truly loves their job, they believe in the mission, the pay is good, and they really enjoy their boss, they're less likely to go to another position. So a few comments also mentioned hypergamy. So yes, all things being equal, when one aspect of the job seems better at another place, then that's usually when the employee will leave. But if the pay and everything is so great where they're at, they're not going to go anywhere. So think about it like that. Yes, hypergamy is a real thing. People do leave their jobs for better positions. But when the atmosphere and the culture of one company, so when the dynamic of the boss and the employee comes into play, then they don't want to leave. The atmosphere and everything is just too good. So think about it that way. Let me know what you guys think in the comments.
I'm not gonna lie, it is so funny to me watching men put two and two together, because men are starting to realize that a lot of these women are broke. And not just financially, like spiritually broke, emotionally broke, like everything about it is just broke. Cause like this dude said, like, when somebody really got it themselves, they don't go around dry begging because they just know they can do it for themselves. Like, I keep trying to tell y'all, as time goes on, the tricksters, they just evolve. That's all they do. Like, people that are scammers or tricksters or they try to blend in, they never truly change. They just evolve. So a lot of women have been adapting the talking points of certain kinds of women, trying to use the language, but deep down inside, them ladies not doing nothing with their life. And when you not doing nothing with your life, but you get online and start talking about, I want to provide a girl. Provide what, girl? Provide what, girl? You need to get back in school. Get back in school. Get back in school. Write that book. Do something, because the guys is figuring it out. The guys is figuring it out. The girls don't have no money. They don't plan on having no money. And their plan is for him to have the money. That's the plan. And they keep trying to shame men and guilt men into like, oh, you ain't got nothing. You ain't got nothing. You don't have nothing, sister. You don't have nothing, sister. You don't have nothing, sister. I have been me my whole life, and I ain't never seen a man not want to do for a woman that could do for herself. I ain't never seen it. The women I know that really got it, they got it. And if they dealing with men, he see she got it, and he wanna give it to her too. But it's a group of y'all that's really like, it's giving dusty. I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that, because it's like, people that actually do hard things in life, they understand how hard it is to truly be a provider. Like, thank God I ain't no man. Whew. Thank God. I'm so thankful I'm not a man. But as a woman that actually does work hard in real life off of the internet, I can 110% tell you, I have a son. When my son get older, I'm letting him know right now, you are not nobody's daddy. You're not nobody's daddy. Don't be with no woman that don't care enough about her own life to invest in it and make something of herself because she want to do it. If you dating a woman and her come up is you, leave her alone. Straight up. Straight up. Straight up. Straight up. Y'all, also too, and another thing, like, there's nothing wrong with being broke. You know, just eight years ago, I was broke. But while I was broke, I wasn't online trying to tell other broke people how they need to not be broke, and I wasn't doing nothing about my own situation. That's where y'all mess. That's what make it kind of like weird. Like, if your funds is not together right now, man or no man, you don't need to be online talking about nobody need to be a provider. You don't need to be doing that. You need to be going to your local college, your local university, your local continuing education, or jot down some. You need to be figuring out how you're gonna get some money. And I'm not trying to be, money not everything, but so much of your life and the quality of it revolves around if you got some money or not. So how y'all broke and got all this time to be talking about people, I don't understand. When I was broke, I was trying to figure out how I was going to get unbroke. That's what I was doing. I wasn't online trying to shame men into giving me some of their money. Because it's still their money. It's still their money.
Okay. So I understand from a logical perspective why men say that us women do not take accountability and we don't listen. Because we can't even take accountability and listen to our fellow sisters when they come bestowing knowledge upon us that can help us or better our future for later so that we don't become a stumbling block for others. But we don't do that. We criticize and we try to point out other people's flaws and other people's transgressions that they once did. And it's just like, what point does that make? Where does that get to? You're proving that you are an ignorant person when you don't take heed of knowledge, especially when somebody comes telling it to you in love. Yeah, they're not calling you out your name. You know what I'm saying? They're not belittling you. They're just telling you the truth. And because conviction is settling in, you think that they're judging you unjustly. My goodness. So I made a post telling women if they don't want men lusting after them, then put your clothes on. And the women that don't want to be lusted by men, but yet wear provocative clothing, found a way to go against that and reverted back to men. My goodness. The lack of accountability is why we don't have unity. Is why a man can't walk in his authority without being called insecure. Or anything other than a leader when he's protected. When he shows his protection and not just by his strength, but how he cares for you because how he wants you covered. Why have we been so programmed to be at war with these men, but we need them? And I know what comes after that. She's a pick-me. Yeah, okay. Well, I'd rather be picked by a man than you. And that's not the point. When women throw that out, it's because they don't have a valid rebuttal. This is why I always say that the term pick-me is just a bulletproof vest for the unteachable, while accountability is the bullet. And this isn't a low blow to men, but baby, men are the easiest thing to get out here. But being picked isn't the motive. But learning from your mistakes and taking heed to knowledge is. It just baffles me because usually the women that throw that term out there are the ones that do everything to get a man's attention. Quite uncanny. Overall, I love my sisters, I really do. Y'all be so beautiful. You ain't got to do all that. I had to learn it. See, the crazy thing is, I didn't have nobody to teach me. I had everybody amping me up, though. You know what I'm saying? Watching me self-destruct. I don't want you to get there. That's why I teach you in love. Take heed. It's okay. Just remember, beauty is revealed from the inside before it is revealed on the out, okay?
That's about the long and short of it. They don't really want men saying anything to them. They just want the man to pay, to provide, to protect, and go in the corner and shut up when they're done with them. Men are not doing that.
I wish I would have caught the video of my dad being stressed out at the fact that I don't have a man. Yeah, he was really stressed out. He was looking at me so concerned, and I'm like, dude, you raised me with high values and morals, and I have standards now, all thanks to you. And the men in America, now that's a whole different story. But yeah, I definitely needed a video of that. And then my aunt chimes in, like, but you're so beautiful, you're so smart, you got all these things going on. I don't understand. And I was like, because the men in America think they're beautiful too. And then she chimes in with you just need a Dominican man. I don't know, man. One day I'll come and surprise my daddy. Like, daddy, it's my husband.
I never thought I'd say this, but I have a dating app crush. I have a dating app crush. When was the last time you could say that you were excited to meet someone off a dating app? Mine has literally been since I met my ex-boyfriend on Hinge, like over 4 years ago, okay? I actually was really excited to meet him, and it was good from the get. But yeah, I'm actually excited to meet this person, which I feel like might be the kiss of death. I feel like I shouldn't even post this because I'm gonna be eating my words, but maybe I'll save it in case, things go really, really well. That would be a shocker, honestly. No. I think that we have a lot in common. I think he's really attractive. He texts like a normal person and like makes me laugh. He's sending an Uber. Like, it's so easy, guys, to just do some basic things to get a girl excited for a date. Choose a place, don't text too much, check in the night before, send an Uber for her, offer to pick her up. I said no to picking me up, but then he sent me like an Uber voucher so he doesn't have to ask for my address to send me an Uber, which, like, chef's kiss.
A man pointed out in the comments, I think his question was like, didn't somebody send you an Uber 2 weeks ago? Exactly. Playing around. It's going to be a no for me, dog.
You'll hear a lot of men say, because I used to be a certain type of man, now I'm going to teach my daughter game. I'm going to teach my daughter how to recognize the game because I used to do certain things and I'm a teacher, 100%. Right? But what's interesting about that is that man is being direct with his daughter and saying, hey, babe, because I used to do these things, watch out for that. But my question is, how many mothers do that with their sons? So, for example, instead of the mother just saying, don't trust women, how many mothers would do the same thing to say, listen, babe, because I used to XYZ, watch out for that when you're dating women. How many mothers are equipping their sons with the same thing? Because at the end of the day, that's what is required, right? Because now she can bring that man that she's raising, or whatever age he is, 20s or whatever the hell, into her world to say, this is how I showed up in relationships. This is how I showed up in dating. And it doesn't necessarily mean that her way is always going to be right, because it's still going to be a sort of a projection, because we can only talk from our own experience for the most part. But at the end of the day, how many mothers would do that? How many mothers, instead of just saying, don't trust these women, is going to say, you know what? When I used to date men, I used to da-da-da-da-da-da. And because of that, hey, babe, I just want you to know, like, this is something that I used to do. This is something that women do sometimes. That's a different way of teaching your son about relationship dynamics than creating this idea that you are perfect and it's all these other women that are going to do you harm except for mom. That's problematic.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's not something. Oof. That's because I'm sitting there thinking like, wow, I never even thought about that. Like,
yeah, because fathers will do it. Fathers will do it. They'll tell their daughters, babe, I used to. Fathers will be direct with their daughters and tell them, because I used to do this behavior, I used to kind of manipulate in this type of way. Just watch out for that. But mothers aren't really going to do that. That's what I'm saying.
I can't see a mom sitting there telling her son the things she used to do because they're perfect.
That's what I was saying earlier, that the best way to control someone is to convince them that your abuse of them is in their best interest. Ooh. That's one of the best. If you ever truly want to control someone, right, and get them to fall in line in the way that you want them to fall in line, you want them to see their abuse as them being taken care of. You understand what I'm saying? That's just the easiest way to control somebody. That's just, it is what it is.
Whew.
Yeah.
That was.
So something I've discovered in the last week or so that I've been on a dating app for the first time in my entire life is that men are truly awful at creating a presence for themselves. Like, are you guys okay? The blurry photos from 15 years ago, the amount of cats. Why do you have cats? The fact that you're 41 and you're open to a short-term relationship, honey, your life is short term at this point. Are you guys okay?
And now, as a man, you can't even own a cat. A man, get this, at the age of 40, is almost dead.
So let me tell y'all what happened yesterday, right? So, I have a coworker, and he's cool. He's cool. We went out for ice cream and stuff. We're just friends. Okay, so back to the story, my bad. Okay, so, yeah, he's cool. At least I thought he was cool. So we had enough ice cream before his coworkers, whatever, right? So he texted me yesterday and was like, I want to see you. So I'm like, see me? Question mark. Are you taking me somewhere? Then he's like, well, where do you want to go? I was like, you asked to see me, so find somewhere for us to go. I'm gonna have some fun. I'm gonna have fun. As soon as I said that, he goes, oh, I don't think I can go out today, but I do really want to see you. So what are we hinting here? What are we hinting here? So I let it be known up front. I said, okay, so I don't know what kind of girl you think I am, but I don't invite people to my house. That's too personal. That's my safe space. You're bugging the fuck out. You're bugging the fuck out. So you would never come to my house. And then I let him know, don't ask to see me, and you're not taking me anywhere. Because we're not hanging out anywhere else. It's either outside, doing something, or not at all. Like, nigga, we just co-workers. Respectfully, don't text my phone no more. The fuck this was. And he had called me and was like, oh, but I really want to see you. And he's asking me, what am I wearing? I'm at work. What? You asked me, what was I doing? I told you I was at work. You said, what are you doing after work? I want to see you. And I asked you, are you taking me somewhere? Then you asked me where I want to go. And then when I tell you, it's because niggas just want to sleep with you. They want to take you out. They don't want to do anything. First of all, I like women anyways, which I told him that from jump. This is not nothing new here. But I do have boyfriends. Listen, it is okay. I have a boy best friend that I've had since I was like 14, 15 years old. I can have boyfriends. It's okay to be a female and have guy friends. Like, that's okay. So I wasn't looking at it as anything more. I'm going to insert the text messages too. I wasn't looking at it as anything more. I'm like, okay, we want to go out and have some fun? Cool. Like, I do that all the time. I've done that with my boy best friend. Like, why you gotta be weird? That shit had me vexed yesterday. It was like, oh, hell no. And I sent the text messages to my boy best friend. Like, this nigga's fucking fuck. He was like, yeah, that's a no-no. The fuck?
So basically, he was trying to get something out of you, and you were trying to get something out of him. Oh, my best boyfriend. Girl, sit down.
Why are there so many women against doing paternity tests when the baby is born? I just made a video about the Laura Owens situation, a woman who accused the Bachelor Clayton Echard of being the father of her child, being indicted for paternity fraud because essentially she said that she was pregnant by him. She wasn't actually pregnant at all. So the judge actually decided to report her, and now there is a criminal case open against her for the paternity fraud. In my comment section, there are women talking about how women are entitled to bodily autonomy and that they also have to look out for the bodily autonomy of the child. To do a DNA test, you don't actually need the DNA of the mother. Does it help the test go smoother? Yes, but having the mother's DNA is definitely not required. I get that it might be embarrassing or kind of rude, but shouldn't the father be able to know that the child is his just like the mother knows that the child is hers because it came out of her? It seems like we should know who the father of our children are, and it shouldn't be offensive for someone to ask for a DNA test.
Something that actually bugs the f out of me in this generation is how oppressed women like to act, especially women in America. Honestly, I'm only speaking about women in America because I'm not a woman in another country, so I feel like that's the only thing I can speak on. We have it good, okay? Especially if you're pretty. Pretty privilege, especially here, real thing. Okay, so if you're like sitting here complaining about being a woman in America, shut the fuck up. Because honestly, I love being a woman, especially in America. I love getting my nails done. I love getting my hair done. I love just being a girly girl and doing all the girl things. And honestly, I feel like the people who complain about being a woman desperately just need attention and love. Yeah. Anyways, I love being a woman in America. That's all I have to say. I just keep seeing videos where people act like we have it so tough here and we're like losing rights, and I think you're just stupid in the head. Anyways, love you all. Bye.
This video is for the men, and I hope it finds you well. I just wanted to give you a little bit of encouragement today. But I just wanted you to know that you are important and that you matter. I am proud of you. Stay strong because we need you. I know maybe you didn't always have a mother or a father to tell you, but I want to be that for you, and I just want you to know that I am proud of you. Your hard work does not go unnoticed. You know, and sometimes men, you know, they don't, you know, show you that they, you know, show you appreciation, but your hard work, it's gonna pay off. It's gonna pay off. If men don't see you, don't worry, God does. God's gonna come through. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you always reap what you sow. So keep going, keep being strong, be encouraged today. You matter. Stay strong because we need you. We need you. Don't give up hope. Lift up your head, King. You matter. You're amazing, you're important. Be encouraged. You know, love yourself. Love yourself. Give yourself credit because you've done an amazing job. You know, I mean, I know life can be hard sometimes and it throws obstacles, but keep going because somebody's looking up to you. Somebody needs you. Somebody's watching. You know what I mean? And I hope you're in a good place mentally. I hope that you can stay strong today. I hope that you can be encouraged today. Smile. You deserve to smile today. With all the hard work that you've put in, you deserve to smile. Be strong. We need you. I'm proud of you.
Can someone explain to me why a lot of women out there will look at their husbands and say, I'm not your mom, while also expecting the husband to do everything that their own father did for them? You're actually going to say that to him, but then also expect him to support you and protect you physically and emotionally and financially? It doesn't just end there, right? Because you want him to support your dreams, no matter what they are. You want him to defend your honor, whether it's publicly or privately. And then whenever you guys travel, you want him to take care of the logistics, right? So that you can relax and clear your head and really enjoy it. But it doesn't even stop there, because you want things like him to encourage your self-confidence. You want him to hear you out, and you want him to listen when you have something to share. You want him to be somebody that you can count on no matter what. No matter when, doesn't matter, you want to be able to count on him. You know, like a good father. But when he does something that won't really matter tomorrow, you're going to tell him, I'm not your mother. I just think it's crazy that that's said so often, because there are many, many times in a man's life where he could look at his wife and say, I'm not your father. But you know what? He doesn't do that because he's doing his job.
And of course, the women in the comments, oh, there's a fine line between this. There's a fine line between that. Accountability.
I need relationship advice. I'm in my first late 20s relationship after being in one when I was in my early 20s, and that looked a lot different, obviously. But in my early 20s relationship, we wouldn't like have lunches and networking and dinners or drinks with like the opposite gender. It was very much just like us two as a nucleus, and then like if he was to interact with like women, it would only be at like house parties, but never that he would like go grab a coffee with a girl, or that I would go and grab a coffee with a colleague. Like that just wasn't a thing, or even drinks. And now in this new relationship I'm in, he's in his mid-30s, I'm in my late 20s. Oftentimes he's just having drinks with girls. He's going to coffee shops with girls. He's right now at a ball in Oxford with a girl who is a former classmate of his. It takes a lot of trust and self-assurance and confidence in the relationship, which I'm not used to being not very toxic. Like I was more used to like the passionate and controlling dynamic that was maybe not so healthy. And so now I'm trying to like say, okay, I'm an adult. I've officially been in therapy now for a while. I am not going to control this guy. I'm going to give him his space and freedom. I'm right now going to go meet a guy for drinks who is my male colleague at the BBC. And like, that's fine, right? He knows, he doesn't care. And he's at the ball with the girl, and that's okay, right? Or is this a red flag? Am I in a red flag relationship, or is this normal? I trust him, but he's still a man, right? Like, thank God doesn't have TikTok, and I can talk about this. Like, I trust him, and I trust myself, but he's still just a man. Is this allowed? What are we doing? Someone help.
I don't know, man. If you don't know how to handle a baddie and you're insecure, just say that. Isn't that what y'all say to men when they're uncomfortable with the people that you be hanging around and the places that you be going?
Years ago, I asked my ex-husband to describe my departure from our marriage. And he said, oh my God, that's easy. He said, I was blindsided. He said, because our marriage had actually started to get better and you up and left. And I said, how did our marriage start to get better? He goes, you finally shut up. He said, you were complaining about your life and stop being a bottomless pit of needs and stop asking me to go to therapy and you stopped, all these things and you just stopped. And I said, and that made it better for you? He goes, oh, hell yeah. He said, yeah, it did. And then he just up and left. I said, because I checked out. And he said, checked out. And I said, yeah. I said, I've been asking to have my needs met for so long and asking you to meet me at the bare minimum of my emotional needs. The bare minimum I said, and you told me I was a bottomless pit of needs and all of these things. And I got tired of that. And if I was going to be alone, I might as well be alone. You know, it just made sense to me. And I told him, I said, you know, you were a good provider for the family. You really were. He was. He provided for us financially. We didn't want for anything. And, you know, but there's more to a relationship than that. He did help me around the house when he was home, but there's more than that. There's a connection. There's emotional needs for both sides. We just were not compatible. We weren't. And I know that. He doesn't. It was my fault because our marriage had gotten better in his terms. What really happened was that I had asked him to meet me at the bare minimum for my needs. And I realize now, in hindsight, that I was anxiously attached. But I was with a narcissist. Now, before you jump on the bandwagon, that's not my diagnosis. That's his psychologist's diagnosis. And with that dynamic, there was no way my needs were ever going to be met. And once I realized that there was no more need for me to say anything because it was falling on deaf ears. And the only way that I was going to live again and learn to feel again was to save myself. It took me years to learn to love myself in a different way and to overcome the damage from that neglect.
It's funny that diagnosis from the psychologist talking about he's a narcissist. The man was providing. He was coming home to help out. But all of a sudden, it's not good enough. Oh, well, he neglected me. There were so many more things that he could have done. Yeah, okay, maybe. What are you doing? What are you not doing?
Bills can be tearing your ass up. Your kids could be misbehaving. You could be into it with your friends. Your hair ain't done. Your lashes ain't done. You haven't had no money or no time for yourself. And here come a man every time. You so pretty.
So black men are right. Because when they said black women only want to wear weaves, extensions, edges, lashes, we told them you don't like natural women. And come to find out, black women don't like natural black women. Okay.
I think that's one of the biggest problems with the dating world today is that women are approaching these men like working women, but they also want love too. And it's like, you don't love the girl that you pay for. You just pay for her and be done with her.
A lot of women feel a resentment toward that reality that we rely on men to provide.
Agree with that.
We're not going and fighting wars. We're not doing it, right? If we had to, it would be over. It would be done. We can't do it. It's just not in us. We don't have the physical strength to do it. I mean, it's absurd. The thought, I think that women have a resentment and a self-loathing because they've been programmed so much to resent their femininity. They're deeply envious of men's masculinity and they don't want you to have it. They want to have it. Like, because with that comes power. And with that comes the ability to fight wars and do the big stuff, secure land and do the really big stuff that's needed on a small scale. From someone breaks into the house, who's in charge? You know, it's not the woman of the house. Let's just be realistic. It's not, and it shouldn't be.
They literally don't like it. And when a man says, this is what I want, they get mad at him.
I thought this was interesting this morning. More single women are outpacing single men in home ownership across the states. Well, except for North and South Dakota. Do you think men are just not buying and are continuing to rent? Or do you think men are just not as financially secure as women? I'm curious to know everybody's thoughts.
Jimmy says women get the house in the divorce. Chris says it's a phenomenon called divorce. Mountain Chip says they get everything in the divorce. Hector says lots of divorces. Then the home gets transferred to the woman.
I don't care how mad I am at him, I'm still gonna put him in my mouth. Because regardless if he mad at me or not, I don't expect from him not to pay no bill. So regardless of me being mad at this man or not, still does not mean I deny him. When that man still tell me to crawl to him, I'm crawling. Mad, angry face or not. And before y'all get in my comments talking about crawl, baby, you won't understand if you're not a submissive, okay? I like being dominated, and he does exactly what I need him to do in this bedroom, okay? So when he say crawl, I'm crawling. Because when I say I need something and I got my hand out, he don't tell me no. So I'm not telling him no, okay? I don't give a fuck how mad we is. You gonna still pay these bills. I'm still gonna toot this ass up, spread these legs to 2:45.
Well, I support you in that. whatever it is that you're doing and whatever it is that you guys are up to in your private time. I support you.
The flirting versus harassment debate is so real because I just realized today when I'm talking to somebody who I do like in a more than friendly way, I be acting the same way that people treat me when they like me in a more than friend way. But when I don't feel the same, I'm literally scared and disgusted. I'm literally afraid. I'm trying to figure out why you would even fix your mouth to say those words to me. But the whole time, I'm the same guy, apparently.
What do you call a girl who hooks up with every guy in her friend group? Her name. You call her by her name. Her body, her choice.
I truly believe that men see single women and mothers as a more valuable asset to their life.
Let's be real. There's something favorable and unfavorable.
What's the unfavorable?
The unfavorable thing is the cope and ego that surrounds women that think that is more favorable. It's not. I didn't say you're unlovable. It's less favorable biologically.
But why? Because you have to take on the
I don't mind
risk.
going to, you're in a way extending your resources to things that aren't directly connected to you.
Right.
Look, we're human beings. And this is why I recommend people be beautiful people. I don't care if you have 6 kids and this is your 3rd divorce. I mean, that's probably revealing that you're probably not so good. But let's just say that you are somebody that actually reflects on these things and understands how it has affected you. Now, that's a very important thing to show maturity of a person, that these decisions come at a consequence. Can you recognize the consequence? Most women deny the consequence and by default make themselves pretentious and ugly to those men immediately and then go, it's because I was a kid. What a barbarian monkey of a man. No. Your ego pushed him away, not the fact that you had a kid.
You said it right. The cope and the ego. These modern women have themselves way up in the clouds. Come down from there. Who in the world do you think that you are? Favorable for men. Y'all don't even be proving, pleading, or presenting a case to a man for him to even think anything about you, because he don't know you. He don't know you. And y'all think y'all God's greatest gift to the world. You're not. Nobody knows you like that. You're not a celebrity.